My name's Gavin, and last year my girlfriend and I moved into a place with a garden bed that looked like this, so we decided to fix it. In this video, I'm going to show you the steps that we took to take our garden bed from looking like trash to looking absolutely beautiful.
Are you kidding me?
The first thing I did was take some measurements in order to figure out exactly how much dirt this garden bed could hold. Then we were off to the races, and it was time to get rid of all these nasty weeds and all this sediment that was sitting on the top layer of this garden bed. Now that we've cleared out all these weeds, we're going to test this garden bed's drainage to see if it drains properly or not. And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with the garden bed. This is my first time, so I was measuring the amount of time it took to drain, but I don't know what it means. Looking back on it now, it actually drained really quick, which is a good sign. It took about 5 minutes for this to fully drain, which is actually really good because this is a 52 square foot raised garden bed, whereas most garden beds are about 24 square feet, so this is quite a large bed. So now with the drainage confirmed, it was time to start digging out the old dirt. We didn't want to plant the new plants in the old soil because most of the nutrients were probably already gone, and I don't know the last time that this actually had vegetables or fruit growing in it, and there was a ton of weeds in the old soil. So we decided to fill it up with about 5 to 6 inch layer of new soil, which meant we had to dig down about 7 to 8 inches below the lip. Now, whoever was using this planter bed before us actually made a mark on the inside of the planter bed liner, which is like a green line that's exactly 6 inches below the lip. So that was a fairly helpful guide, but we wanted to go a little bit deeper because we were going to put a layer of cardboard between the old soil and the new soil. And I'll explain why we did that in a little bit. Also, note to self, buy a bigger shovel because this was a total pain in the butt doing these with a couple of small hand trowels. So for the future, please use a bigger shovel.
Just cheaper when you buy it in bulk like that. Similar kind of thing, but yeah, we do not have enough bags for all this.
Should we run out and get some?
I don't know. I mean, I think that side is lower, so.
Yeah.
This digging took us absolutely ages, like probably 4 or 5 hours of just digging and dumping all this dirt to get it all out. But I'm glad that we committed the time to doing it because if we didn't do it, it wasn't gonna get done, so. So once we finished up with digging, this is pretty much what the garden bed looked like, and you'll notice the green line that I spoke about earlier. So we went down about an inch below that green line, which gave us just enough space to add the new soil. So now that we're done with the digging and we're going to get ready to put in the new soil, I'm going to start first by putting in a layer of cardboard. So like I talked about earlier, the reason that we decided to put in this layer of cardboard is because it's going to help in 3 major ways. The first is that it's going to help prevent any weeds that might be rooted below this level that we dug down to from coming up through the garden bed. The second is that once we wet this cardboard and we leave it there, eventually the plants that we plant, the new ones, are going to be able to push their roots through into the old soil. So hopefully by that time, anything that's still alive in the old soil will be dead and gone. And the third major benefit that this is going to give us is it's going to separate the old and the new soil, meaning that the plants, when they first get planted, are going to have tons of nutrients available to them, and it's going to be a healthy environment for them to start. So it's important that if you decide to do a cardboard layer on a garden bed that you make sure that you get non-waxed cardboard, because then that cardboard won't break down properly. So we made sure to get the right kind of cardboard, and when you wet it, it'll decompose eventually over time, meaning that it won't provide a permanent barrier, but only something temporary, and the cardboard will eventually become a compost material for these plants. So this is some of the stuff that I picked up from our local hardware store and the nursery. We got a few bags of the raised garden bed soil, and we also got a few bags of cedar mulch, as well as a couple bags of C-Mix compost, which we're gonna add into the top layer. So with the cardboard saturated, we're now gonna start putting in the new soil.
Okay, so yesterday we got a bunch of the potting or the raised bed soil. We put the cardboard down in the soil, and about halfway through I realized we didn't have enough soil, so I ran out again this morning and I got 6 more bags of soil and some more of the C-Mix, the compost. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the bin filled up, and then once it's full, hopefully we're gonna start planting.
So yeah, we made a little bit of a mistake. You know, it happens. Again, like I said, first time I've ever done this, so it's a learning process. But at this point, we're gonna get the rest of the soil down. We're gonna wet it a little bit, and then I started using the cardboard to level out the soil. And so here I just wanted to show you guys a few of the plants that we got for the box, which includes carrots, onions, chives, parsley, cucumbers, basil, and strawberries. And so now with the new soil down, it's time to get to planting. So we had a bit of a plan as to where we wanted to plant everything in this garden bed. We wanted to put the cucumber plants that we had bought on the back row because those grow very tall and we didn't want them to prevent the other plants from getting sunlight. So the first things we started off with planting was the 3 cucumber plants. And then from that point, we moved on to grabbing some of the carrots and onions, which we put 6 on each row and we mirrored it on both sides. And as you can see, this garden bed has a walking path in the middle so that you get full access to the entire garden bed when you're standing in the center of it. Then it was time for us to plant some of the herbs that we had bought, and we got parsley and chives, and we planted them 2 on each side in an alternating pattern. And I was just measuring out the distance in between each plant to make sure they had enough space. And at this point, now that we have all of the herbs planted, it was time for my favorite fruit to get planted, the strawberries, which is where we ran into a bit of an interesting problem.
Okay, so this guy is here.
Where are these things?
What do you mean? Are they not in there?
No!
Did somebody steal them? Are you kidding me? There's nothing in there.
No.
Alright.
Or other places.
Like, seriously? Somebody went through this and pulled them all out. That's
Oh, there's more.
Why would you do that? There's supposed to be 10 in there, right?
Yeah.
What does it say on the front?
10 perennials.
We got scammed. So that's great. We'll be back.
Here, let me put the elastic back on.
So as you can see, a bit of a disaster, but we're not going to let it slow us down. If you guys enjoyed this part 1, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and follow for next week as I'm going to be uploading part 2 with the finished results.